This may shock some of my viewers, especially considering that Battlefield 2042 has drawn the full might of my wrath, but today I actually have some news that if EA DICE plays their cards right, could actually turn that frown upside down. Geez, probably way too early for that kind of crap, so sorry. My name is LtBuzzLitebeer, and I have a bit of a news dump for you today, some directly from the Battlefield team, and even more information coming to us from industry insider Tom Henderson. But before we dive into the news, as someone that creates content as a hobby, yes, I do have a full-time IRL job, I've never seen anything like the support you've been showing my channel, and I guess I just wanted to say thank you. Just in case you aren't yet a sub, please take a moment to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button and ring the bell to receive all future upload notifications from my YouTube channel. As I have reported in my last few 2042 videos, it has been comms dark from the entire comms dev team at EA DICE until this morning when Kevin Johnson unveiled this week's weekly missions. Week 8 is now up and you can grab the Adept Predator Epic Weapon Skin for the 12M Auto, which involves, and pay close attention to these details, 20 enemies killed with marksman or sniper rifles, 100 enemies disrupted with EMP or spots, and 5 enemies killed with melee. Now, if the requirements seem a bit off, that is because they are. Sniper kills for a shotgun skin? Yeah, Johnson was asked about that on Twitter, responding that it was indeed an error on their part, what a surprise, and was simply too late to get it corrected. Now, I'm going to do my best to suppress this outpouring of disappointment, disillusionment, and betrayal I want to hurl in the dev team's direction, but at least for today, I'm going to mellow out, I'm going to hold it all back. Still, this kind of error holds true with the pattern of the game. We've reached the point now that even when the easy stuff like giving away weapon skins are being transmitted in error. Brutal. Johnson was also tasked with firing off the weekly announcement for Portal, and this week's featured experience will remain the same as last week's zombie mode error replacement debacle thing. I don't even know what we call that, but they're going to continue on with Gunmaster 2042 and Battlefield 1942 versus 2042 Conquest. And there's also this final portion where they say that 2042 Rush will continue to remain in Portal, as if that should ever be a freaking question. Rush is as much a core component of Battlefield as like classes or squads. It should never be a question of if it is staying or being removed. I'm still holding it back, don't worry, we're going to make it to the end of this video, still maintaining somewhat of a civil tone. So with that, we can now talk about how EA DICE are going to be able to take another PR nightmare and actually turn it into a win for all parties involved. So when 2042 first launched and players quickly found out just how much of a slog the actual progression system was, they quickly turned to creating custom lobbies in the Portal mode and began farming other players who would spawn in without guns, and of course they gained incredible amounts of XP. Now, DICE quickly caught on to that and disabled all Portal XP, and only within the last few weeks has it returned to allow progression and XP gains, but only through DICE-approved featured experiences where they control all the settings. And here's where I'm going to mention that XP farm zombie mode that went against all of their rules and somehow made it through Q&A. Alright, moving on, and here's where Tom Henderson has been doing the Lord's work when he reported that players were being banned for no reason. And I actually took the time to read through one ticket to the EA help desk where this player actually received an alert that he'd been banned while he was at work and not even logged on. There's also other reports of players being banned within 5 minutes of purchasing the game. Now, Henderson, through this Charlie Intel article, was quoted as saying that back in mid-December, he had received 20 DMs from players claiming that they had been banned for no reason. Now, I took the time and reached out to Henderson, who quickly and professionally responded back to me that he originally had a line in that Charlie Intel article for players to reach out to him if they encountered this random banning, but then requested that Charlie Intel go back in and remove his contact link as he was getting 5 to 10 DMs a day about these false positive bans. Now, 5 to 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but remember that these players would have had to have seen that specific Charlie Intel article, and then they would have had to take the time to actually reach out to Mr. Henderson. And here's where it starts to get really interesting. You see, EA Help originally had a forum post from users discussing these false positive bans that, as of this morning, according to this image, has now been completely shut down, instead referring this user over to the TOS team with a standard cut and paste response. But through that initial article listing Henderson as a point of contact, he actually received over 100 DMs from gamers, all receiving the bans, and this is where I kind of geek out because I'm a numbers guy, but Henderson set about creating a spreadsheet based on a questionnaire he gave to each DM. Now, based on his spreadsheets, 90% of users that received these false positive bans were running some form of RGB software, of which apparently Easy Anti-Cheat has been known to falsely flag cheaters. 48% were running MSI Afterburner, and 40%, I'm shocked at this, that they actually admitted it, but 40% of users admitted to partaking in Portal XP farms in some capacity. Now you kind of see why I led into this portion of the video with that overview of what happened with XP farms when the game first went live. Now, since these players just received a blanket statement that they had been banned, they don't have an exact reason, with XP farming still being a possibility. In the past, I've seen these heavy-handed TOS bans dealt out in many other titles, most notably when Ubisoft banned thousands upon thousands of players in The Division 2 who were using an in-game mechanic to stack damage onto their characters, essentially allowing them to mow through the absolute hardest content in the game. Now, anytime a developer, through their own faulty workmanship, installs a mechanic into the game that allows for players to gain an advantage over said game, the players shouldn't be banned, even if it does list it as an exploit, etc. in the game's terms of service. Now, I was extremely vocal about my stance back when that occurred in The Division 2, and I still have that same viewpoint here for Battlefield 2042. Now, if these offending players are using some sort of external cheat or hack, like an aimbot, speed hack, or something like that, I actually think the devs should send an overpowered electrical signal to the offending player's console or PC and just burn the whole freaking thing to the ground. Problem solved, right? Okay, just stating again that these false positive players are not definitively sure why they were banned, just that they were. And in the case of XP farming and Portal, that shouldn't be a bannable offense. At least, I don't think it should. But back to these stats from Henderson, and the one that really stands out is the use of RGB, which for most custom PCs these days, I mean, everyone has rainbows flying out of their PC cases and external hardware like a mouse and keyboard. But at a 90% confirmation rate, RGB software and Easy Anti-Cheat within Battlefield 2042 are clearly not compatible. And just weighing in again, but here is where EA DICE has the potential to get a super easy layup, score some badly needed goodwill with the player base, and for once, do the right thing. Now, seeing as how the forum link to the help page, which reached 163 pages, has now been disabled, and players have nowhere to turn for answers, it seems only just that EA just rescind all of these bans and start again from ground zero. Now, if their anti-cheat software is as robust as they claim, then it's just going to quickly scoop up any potential hacks or cheaters in short order, while freeing the false positive players to get back to gaming without worry. It's not the total redesign we need to make this into a Battlefield game. It doesn't address the missing mechanics and legacy features, but at least that very small first step to reinstating these players' accounts could slowly gain momentum and at least bring 2042 back from the brink of termination. What do you think about this situation? Does EA DICE potentially have a very easy decision to make and rescind these bans? Also, do you have any remedies for custom mode creations and XP gains within the Portal game mode? Leave me a comment and I will do my best to respond. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to receive all my future upload alerts. If you could also take a few seconds more to rate and or share this video, that would be greatly appreciated. You can find and follow me on Twitch and Twitter and are welcome to also join my community Discord server. Links to all my social platforms in the video description below. Again, thank you for all the support you've been showing me, my content, and the channel. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.